I don't just drift through life. I have a sense of mission, and as I navigate to my destination, I keep looking at my moral compass. I want to be accepted by the people around me as a stereotypical good guy. People recognize that individual things that share similarities can be grouped together. Categorization is fundamental to how we make sense of the world. At a rudimentary level, even the squirrels that we feed here on the porch do it. My cats do it. People have done it since forever. Grouping information into categories makes our operating system run more efficiently, so we can react quickly to new experiences. It's about adaptation and survival. My cat's decision-making process is super simple. Humans have to grapple with much greater complexities, so there's a wide margin of error in our efforts to get things right. Our generalizations become stereotypes when we categorize all members of a group as having the same characteristics. On YouTube, there's a large variety of videos on stereotyping. The crude and didactic propaganda piece is stereotyping. They're as sophisticated as the "just say no to drugs" public service announcements. Their do-gooder creators do not differentiate between hurtful negativity and good-natured teasing, jokes, sarcasm, constructive social criticism, satire, parody, and so on. Some of them argue that even good stereotypes are harmful. Taking these seriously, people get paralyzed and don't dare to say anything to anybody. The better videos that make us think about stereotyping use humor effectively, like Ken Tanaka's classic piece.
Well, my great-grandma was from Seoul.
Korean. I knew it. I was like, she's either Japanese or Korean, but I was leaning more towards Korean.
Amazing.
Yeah, Hamshasina. There's a really good teriyaki barbecue place near my apartment. So I actually really like kimchi.
Cool.
In math, a minus is a plus. In drama and film, when a stereotyper is stereotyped, stereotyping becomes comedy. The best examples of this have wall-to-wall stereotyping.
Stuff you, but I'll do the funny more.
Something amusing.
I find your accent quite funny.
What?
What?
Prune candy.
This is my town of Kusek. This is Orkin, the town rapist. Naughty, naughty.
Tu sei un pazzo! Va vedete qui! Sono stanco di te! Ti do un pugno nella testa! Ti uccido con questa carne!
Basil Fawlty, Inspector Clouseau, Ricky Bobby, Borat, and Peter Griffin are not real. Comic relief and laughter ease tension. This is the best medicine for individuals and for social ills too. This is the healing we need in our polarized society where many people are ready to start World War III because they were offended.
For me, the best way to increase society's resistance to insulting or offensive speech is to allow a lot more of it.
Censoring anything that might offend somebody kills comedy. The outraged victims of jokes need a dose of John Cleese or Seinfeld or Ricky Gervais to build up a healthy immunity. The worst kind of anti-stereotyping videos manage to combine Marxism and revolutionary Romanticism. According to these, stereotyping the oppressed perpetuates their victimization, and the stereotyper becomes the oppressor. in order to promote social justice, people should reform themselves. The naive videos shaming stereotypers are meant to enforce this idea. Soviet and Nazi propagandists were grandmasters of stereotyping themselves as the good guys and their enemies as evil. Now, how does Anne Frank fit this picture? National Socialists and the Soviets promised revolutionary changes. The key to this was the indoctrination of the kids so that they become proper Hitlerjugend or Komsomolets.
The Jew wants you to look at him as just another person. But he does not look at you that way. He is your enemy. Do you know why? Because you are superior to him. You are special. You belong to something special.
Юные пионеры, к борьбе за дело Коммунистической партии Советского Союза, будьте готовы!
The uncorrupted new generation will sweep away the old stereotypes, the obstacles in the way of progress, and the dream of humanity becomes reality. Today's social reconstructionists have the same romantic longing for utopia. Nothing is impossible. Just smash those stereotypes. The bloodline of tabula rasa, the mind is a clean slate, goes back as far as Aristotle, and it doesn't end with Locke, the father of liberalism, whose ideological heritage is well and alive in our education system. It is not reasonable to take an extreme position in the nature versus nurture debate. Let's just put it this way. Not everybody can be a Mozart or an Einstein. I love to look at dance videos, and I'm so envious. There's no way I can move like those people. It's just not in me. We'd better be realistic about our own limitations. Now, I used to work with a lovely young lady. She was a firecracker, a feisty go-getter. She wanted to become a fighter pilot. She was tiny, 4'6", 4'7", maybe. Everybody cheered her on. You can be anything, go girl. Well, nobody told her that fighter planes didn't come in her size. Now, there was a feminist pep rally at my high school. Worn out, tattooed, 40-plus single woman, emulating a questionable alpha male attitude, promoted the well-being lifestyle as the means of liberation for girls. Gender stereotypes, nah. Work hard, play hard, be the queen in a male-dominated industry. She channeled Rosie the Riveter, who was probably spinning in her grave. At my school board, we had a race relations officer who went from school to fight against racial stereotypes. With her crude and assertive presentation style, she drove home the point that black people are industrious, scholars, scientists, inventors, and all the negative stereotypes are false. It's not true that black boys are only good at basketball. Well, when she said this, all heads in the audience turned towards my student, Oscar, the only black boy in the school. Oscar was a popular and well-loved kid. Well, he fell asleep in my classes, did everything slowly and with a relaxed, dreamy look in his eyes, but he came to life on the basketball court. Never mind tabula rasa, progressive indoctrination, and a protected status in today's woke society. Oscar was not going to be an astronaut because he didn't want to. People make their own choices. Somebody like Oscar will find a job where his comfortable pace is not a problem and fluid movement skills are admired and rewarded. People don't like to bump into walls, and they find their convenient paths to success, even if it's stereotypical. I want to be stereotyped by border agents. I have nothing to hide, so I want them to wave me through with a "have a nice trip." But use their best practices to detect the bad guys and keep them off my plane. I have experienced the Harold and Kumar type terrorist scare on an airplane. In real life, it wasn't fun. Decades ago, as a young and inexperienced new Canadian, I made stereotyping mistakes. I didn't want to hurt anybody, I just didn't know better. I was ashamed of my social faux pas and took the learning experience to heart. I also know what it's like to be on the receiving end of stereotyping. I was savagely stereotyped and treated like garbage by high school kids when I was a supply teacher. I rationalized it. 1. I accepted that the negativity towards me was caused by all the bad teachers and lame supply teachers before me who let these kids down. I wasn't the victim. 2. Precisely the hostile and alienated kids crave human gestures the most. I kept reaching out to these so-called troublemakers, and eventually they started to eat out of my hand. Anthony Bourdain was a genius at picking up on typical and unique things. He did his piece on Hungary with love and respect, and the people were comfortable with him. I wish Family Guy roasting countries had something on Hungary. I want to know how others see and stereotype Hungarians. I would love to hear Hungarian jokes and laugh my head off.